But one battle that I've never heard you talk about that recently surfaced when I was watching I believe it's like on a Math Hoffa podcast. Well, shout out to Math and them. It's so cool to see battle rappers. Which I would, that's how I got to know him. Maybe he's beyond that, but evolve into these like content creators and really creating platforms and bridging out and doing. It's like mad inspirational. But anyways, Bizarre was on there, and from what I gander. You battled Proof?
Yeah, it was at it's funny because I never really told the story out in public, and to hear Bizarre tell it, I was like, wow, Proof must have went back and told how the whole thing happened. And this kid had came to the studio and he kept saying, yo, I want to show you something, and we was kind of like shutting him down, and then finally he was like, come on man, please, I gotta show you this. And I sat and he brought it to the point where Bizarre was talking, and he said that Proof was hunting this MC, and I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, what is this? And then I said, hunting. And he was like, yeah, for 5 months. And Bizarre was really like making the story dramatic, and he goes, and Math Hoffa sits back in the chair and is like, who is this? And they start naming people, and Bizarre's like, nah. And then he goes, Supernatural. And everybody kind of like stopped and paused for a minute. Even me, I was like, oh, wow, he's telling the story. And it was just one of those moments where, make a long story short, we were in Vegas at a thing called the Magic Convention. And I was working at the Boss / Jabot booth at the time. They kind of had the brand in the same building. My man Tavel had flew me out to do it. And so I was there doing my thing, rapping for people walking by, going back and forth on the floor at the event. And Proof comes up. At the time, I didn't know what Proof's face looked like. I knew who Proof was. I'd heard about him. And he walked up, and he was leaning on his homeboy, and they was kind of like looking at me, and I just was being a friendly MC thinking, oh, they want to jump on, and I passed him the mic, and he went straight for the jugular, like out the gate. And at first, I got a little upset, and then I had to like gather myself. And then I went straight back at him, and we exchanged bars. And there was a couple of lines that was stated, and pretty much shut the spot down with the lines, And I remember like he went back his way, I went my way, and I was telling me and Peg was talking when he came to pick me up about this briefly, and I was years removed from that happening. I was in Vegas again, and this is how beautiful life can be. Rest in peace to Proof, first and foremost. He was
rest in peace.
A very cool person, and just to know that the way Bizarre presented the story in such a whimsical and comical way, it let me know that there was no love lost. It was all good. Let's make that very clear while I'm speaking on, the brother's name. But as to make the story even sweeter, is like years later, removed from that moment, I was in Vegas again, doing that, and I was, as I said, people were going by, and this lady stops, and I'm rhyming to one of the people that's standing with her, and she has a locket, and she opens the locket, and I start rapping about the picture that was in the locket. And when I finished, as I was rhyming, the girl started crying, because I was rhyming about the little girl that was in this locket. It was a little girl or a child, I'm not sure, but as I was rhyming about the child, she started crying. And come to find out, it was Proof's daughter, or one of her kids, and it was Proof's mother and his baby's moms together standing right in front of me. And I broke down. We had a whole moment of tears. There's actually footage of this happening. I think my brother has it on a VHS tape that he was, on his handy cam at the time. And it was just one of those moments that takes you full circle. That's why I call myself Supernatural.
That's what I was just gonna say.
That's why those
why they
moments.
call you Supernatural.
Yeah,
right
for real,
there.
for real. It's really not just about just the rhyming. Like I can tell you stories and things that happened to me in the rap game that is like almost unfathomable. Like